The Whine and Cheese Show is a Metaverse and NFT discussion interview series brought to you by Upland Development United and the host BEN68 and Morecheese. Warning, the information and opinions within are solely the views of the individuals involved, contains content not suitable for anyone.
Hello and welcome to Season 1, Episode 5 of the Whine and Cheese and the Metaverses Show. Today we have a special midweek episode. It's a crossover event with Skoobie and Cam from iCON.
We talked to Skoobie, Cam, and guests regarding the Upland 2021 Agile Roadmap to a thriving metaverse. We talked about a lot of things, so many things that it took 2 friggin' hours. Lots of highs, even more lows, but fun all around. That might not be too visible, and neither should it be.
So grab your goat and get ready for a battle royale with cheese in an extra shitty episode
of the worst show ever.
Whine and Cheese. Time for Whine and Cheese. Whine and Cheese. Time for Whine and Cheese. Cheese. One is a wanker, one's slinging stunts. One's from Australia, one's from the Bronx. Talking about the Metaverse and NFTs. Interviewing all the real crypto G's.
Boom. Hello.
Hello.
All right, what are we doing? We're here with Skoobie and iCON and Cam and Droopy and Bisexual Bob and Kaiser, and
We got the iCON crew. The iCON crew in the house.
Pretty much.
And we're going to be talking about this link that Ben sent me.
Yeah, we're well prepared here at the worst show ever. How are we doing? iCON people?
Oh man, I'm doing good.
Hang on, we got some people not on mute.
Oh, Kaiser is not on mute. Kaiser, mute yourself.
Or Angela,
Sorry, guys.
you can force
Trying to
me.
figure out how to mute myself. I thought I was muted.
Angela, you can do it.
What are you doing?
There we go.
But anyway, yeah, no, I'm doing good. How are you doing today, Cam?
I'm doing much better now. I'm doing pretty good.
Right on. And you guys are absolutely as prepared as we ever are on our podcast.
Yeah, it's funny. I only recently started listening to your podcast, and I went back through, and I haven't actually met or talked to Cam at all. But you know, it's one of those weird things where you've heard someone talk over several hours, and you know, it kind of you feel like you know them almost. So, hello, Cam.
How's it going?
Come on.
I wish I could say I just started listening to your guys' podcast a couple of days ago. Wanted to get a sense of who we'll be talking to today. Like the variety in your show, by the way.
Is it variety, or we just don't know what the hell we're doing?
We don't know what we're doing. I'll take variety though.
Yeah, but that was kind of what we were looking for when we set it up, was, you know, to be able to talk to anybody within the whole wider circle of things, whether it be crypto or, you know, the metaverse or NFTs or anything like that. So yeah, it kind of gives us scope to talk to just about anybody. Yeah, we're looking forward to this one because it's episode number 5, so that's a bit of a milestone for us. And yeah, we're excited to see what what you're up to.
Right on. No, thanks for having us. Really appreciate that. This is great. We've never been featured on another platform before, so this is exciting.
Yeah, and like when we first started talking about it, it's kind of what's the word? A mutual thing, co-hosting almost, because you normally run your own show at this stage as well. So where it's shared responsibility and shared, I don't know, putting it out there sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, we're always down for a crossover podcast anytime you guys want to.
That was the word I was looking for, crossover.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, this obviously this episode will be heavily Upland focused. So if you're coming from an NFT space or something like that and you don't know what Upland is about, you better check that out because it's where all the cool kids are at. we were just discussing that, and all the cool kind of middle-aged grown-ups, I suppose.
Yeah, it is one of the most diverse communities I have ever been a part of in every sense, from age to nationality to heritage. Just like there's people of every kind here.
Upland has been an absolute whirlwind for me. Yeah, everybody is here. I was well aware of NFTs and stuff like that, but I had no idea of their workings before I got into Upland. And Upland's really I still don't know what I'm doing, but it's at least giving me stuff to look at and some projects to join.
Yeah, that's half the fun. I know I got just talking with you, Skoobie, I think in March as part of the Midtown Terrace kind of push to get that sorted out. Cam, when did you begin your journey, and how?
So I was here in Upland actually very early when you could only mint in San Francisco, but I literally put pennies into it at the time because I didn't join Discord until almost Chicago. So there's a lot of the game that just kind of flew by me and I didn't know what was going on. And I can tell you that the community has completely changed my idea of the game, and from something fun to something, like this is real. And I have been heavily involved since. I dived in head first, right? Like pretty much right away once I got into Discord.
So were you an old school Discorder? Like, have you always been in Discord, or did you just join Discord because of Upland?
I rejoined Discord because of Upland. I saw the Discord things from time to time, but I didn't realize like how serious the community was behind the scenes, and still think Upland could do better. But like, I just didn't think there was a real reason to join it. I was like, I have this cute stuff I'm not interested in. I had a bad taste in my mouth from getting kind of swindled a little bit in a crypto group back in 2017. I don't feel bad for me. I did fine in 2017, but I was like, you know what, I'm good with Discord. So I wrote that off, and I wasn't interested in rejoining until actually some iCON member. I tried to buy a part from him in Chicago, or right, was it? No, that's where I got iCON. I don't know what made me join Discord, but when I did, it changed everything.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's how, Skoobie, that's how we got hooked up. Was I was trying to buy you out of Midtown Terrace, wasn't I? That's how we got to talking.
Yeah, I had one property in Midtown Terrace on Twin Peaks Boulevard that I only minted because I was a big David Lynch fan, and you reached out, and I knew what you were reaching for because I'd seen what you were doing with the Evil Empire, and I was like, I love what you're doing there, but I really like this property. You're gonna offer way more for that, and you saw that I liked what you were doing, and you're like, do you want to join? And I said, oh yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, that was part of the push where I was putting offers in here, there, and everywhere. So yeah, it was cool to get replies like that.
Oh,
I think I had at the time 9 properties, because that's how I first met Ben. He was on Discord. It was sometime in March, and he was like, buy it out. And I'm like, who the hell is this guy? And I'm like, all right, people seem to like him. He must know what he's talking about. Like, I'm gonna follow the money. So I just started buying, and I'm like, hey, I just bought 9, and he's like, yeah, I saw that. Welcome to the neighborhood, mate. And then maybe a few minutes later, hey, can I buy you out? I'm like, no.
That sounds about right.
it's cutthroat.
Yeah.
It is. Well, you know that full well, Skoobie, when you're trying to set up a node, it's all about getting the weekends out.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah. It takes work, it takes effort, and it takes a whole lot of tappity tap.
Yep. Yeah, but it was interesting. I did look through our early DMs to find when we got talking, and right from the very first conversation, like when I sent you the link to that new Discord that I'd set up, you already had iCON, like it wasn't named iCON, but you already had that idea kind of boiling away.
Yeah, that was back when it was just the Carroll Gardens contingency. I remember that.
That's good. Like
100%.
when I see your, I do kind of sneak in there. I'm so busy. I have like so many Discords, but I sneak into your Discord every so often to see what you're up to, Skoobie, and you're always on top of it. My God, like you're everywhere. You're this and that, and then I get in an alert, and your alerts are the only ones I'm not angry at. I'm like, oh,
Well, I
there's a
appreciate
Discord alert, and I'm like, oh, it's iCON. What's he up to? Sort of thing. So I have to be more active there. I feel like I'm being stretched a lot, but I have to make time for the quality stuff. So I'll definitely try to be more active there.
That's very much appreciated, and something that we really try and stress at iCON is that, you know, we realize that right now iCON doesn't pay the bills. Real life pays the bills, so we're very much on a volunteer basis. Everybody do what you can.
Yeah.
Some of us are able to do a lot. Some of us are able to just do a little bit, but do it consistently, and that's why everybody gets a vote.
That's good, because like that's the same with Udo. It's like mostly, you know, Ben and I, but then we're so appreciative of, you know, Bakio and Hawaiian and Teddy and Slav, and like we have so many members that kind of kick it up and keep things active and try to keep it going and whatnot. And it's important to have like good people in your crew. I see that with you guys.
How have you guys found, like, I know you're pretty open to the general public, like you only need one property in one of your nodes to be able to jump in and join the server. Have you dealt with any drama associated with being so open like that yet?
Nothing too large of a scale. Oh, hold on, this is my internet connection is unstable. Well, stop that, be stable. All right, cool. I live in West Virginia, so sometimes the internet is not great. But no, thankfully we've been largely fortunate. We haven't had too many issues like that. The couple issues that have happened, we've just approached with as much fairness and transparency as we can. Like there was one member who is on our wall of shame because they ghosted us after receiving a little bit of an investment for a project we were working on. But then they ghosted us also. So like they're gone. They're gone. They haven't been even a transaction in Upland in months and months. So that, as much as it sucked, that wasn't really a situation to resolve. And then since then we have put in what we call the bad actor protocols, and that's just in the event that if we have an issue with any member, that they break our core values, if they're suspected of doing anything, you know, untoward in Upland, we put them on probation and give them, we tell them what they're accused of, give them a chance to explain themselves, and then just in our staff in communication with them reaches an understanding. We haven't had to really put that to too much of a test yet, but to the degree that we have, it has been very successful.
That's good. That's good. It's what we usually do. Sometimes if I'm in a mood, I'll hit them with the hairbrush, hit them with the knife.
Now we've got a dungeon within the server, so
Dungeon of Lost Soul.
You find yourself in the dungeon, you're in trouble. Yeah,
That might not be a punishment.
It really impresses me every day, like especially as the community continues to grow, it like how well it self-polices itself, and just how much really everybody, like it's such a rarity that I can think of most of the real bad actors in the community. Like it's like everyone's protecting everyone, and nobody wants to do business with you if you're not a good person. And it's just, it feels great. And I know at scale you're gonna have more bad actors, there's more people, but it's really impressive like how far it's come.
Yeah, like it definitely sticks out when there are issues. It definitely sticks out because there's not many background issues. You know, in a lot of other communities, it's just constant chaos and drama. Where within our kind of groups, it's not like that at all. So if there are issues, it kind of maybe it stands out more or something like that. So yeah, I think you're right. Sorry, Skoobie, go ahead.
Oh no, you're fine. I was actually just saying this, but we talked about this a little bit today earlier in our team meeting about the fear of basically the fear of spies getting into our group, you know, as we grow and as time goes on. And I basically said that, you know, I feel the same way about this as I do in the real world with stuff. I'd rather be burned a few times by trusting people and a majority of the time come out having good faith than never be burned and just being like never you know, putting stuff out there and trusting people. Like it's gonna happen. You just have to be prepared for how you're gonna handle it.
Yeah, that's inevitable. I mean, we've faced that. What are you gonna do?
I go in the corner and cry.
Totally valid. Totally valid.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole spy situation, that's inevitable. That we've had that previously, but those kind of people expose themselves pretty quickly. I was actually talking to the Portage Park team recently and mentioning that, and they were like, really? Oh, that's disappointing. I'm like, well, it's people will always get into these groups looking for a short-term advantage. You know, they want to find out where you're headed next for the node, and then they'll look to flip. But it's just so obvious that, you know, they just shoot themselves in the foot eventually. More often than not, it's just a case of giving them enough rope, and they'll do themselves in.
100%. 100%. And as of go ahead, Cam.
I was gonna say this community is so honest. I accidentally sold a property stupid cheap in Santa Clara. Somebody who just saw me as a regular in the general Discord swooped it up, messaged me, offered it right back, and I gave him a tip on top of that just because thank you. And I don't know if there's people out there that are doing this just out of kindness like regularly, but that was the coolest thing ever. I just assumed that was gone as soon as I got that notification. Like,
Yeah, 100%. This the exact same things happened to me when I was going through and just clearing out all my trash properties. Basically, I think it was Bakersfield or somewhere. I just started listing properties at the floor, and within like probably a minute or two, somebody had DM'd me and said, "What the hell are you doing? You're listing these collection properties?" And he grabbed all 4 of them, and you know, same thing. I got them back off him at a premium. And Cam, it sounds like you come from a crypto background like me. Imagine you sent to the wrong wallet. What were the chances of anybody, you know, not that you could contact them, but it just would never happen in any other situation. Like if you suddenly got some money in your bank account, you wouldn't put much effort into finding out who sent it to you. You just, oh, thanks for that. Sweet.
Yep. I just assume that's like dropping $100 cash. That's somebody else's cash now.
That's
Now,
exactly.
is this an honesty thing, or is it because it's blockchain and everything's so transparent, you're kind of forced to be honest? Because if you're not, it's just so obvious.
I would say, I mean, and most of the fact that the day-to-day transactions go smoothly and you don't really hear about like big issues, even with people doing temp swaps of a lot of money. Like, let's be real. I think that's what, like, that keeps the honesty is the blockchain. But like, you could, if you snipe my property because I put it up there, I'm not going to consider you a bad person for keeping that. This is still a game, and that still happens. Like, I appreciate it if you take, like, if you sell it back, or if, but that one, I'm not going to consider you a dishonest person for it. I think that is still part of the game. So the fact that there's honesty on top of that, that's just goodness in people.
Yeah, 100%. Like when I listed those properties, that was entirely my mistake, my fault. You know, if like with blockchain, if you send to the wrong wallet address, you can't blame anybody but yourself for putting in the wrong details or not doing enough due diligence on what you're doing. So yeah, for sure.
For me, I think it comes down to good karma, because I would always, like, if I've caught a few low mint stuff, and sometimes, you know, it's you know, the multi accounters or whatever, and sometimes it's a legit mistake, and I will send a message. I'm like, did you mean to do this or whatnot? If they get back to me, then I'll send it back. Like, it happened to me. I sold an Andersonville for really cheap by mistake, and I messaged the guy, and I'm like, you know, good on you, you caught my mistake, you know, whatever. I wasn't mad or anything, and he was just like, hey, you know, pay it back, just like maybe handle the taxes. And I'm like, are you serious? So I gave him like $5,000 UPX as a reward, and he was grateful for that. So you got to keep the good karma up.
Absolutely, you got to pay it forward.
I think that's something that you can develop in the community too, and that's why I like when he offered to just give it back with like the fees covered. I covered above that, and I think that, you know, if you know that you're tipped for doing the right thing versus I'm just going to hoard it because I'll never come across it again. You have a community of people who will literally pick up those mistakes for you, and I'd rather pay a small fee for a big mistake than everyone just eats it. Like, nobody's trying to be sharks out there. It's really cool.
Yeah. You're right.
Reputation, especially in a game like this where it's so heavily community based, it's a precious thing. It's easily lost and hard to get back.
I think it's the good and bad of the Discord situation being what it is. You know, it sucks that we don't have in-game communication, but in that we do have this one official avenue. Basically, it is the communication highway for Upland, and it is I mean, not enough people, not everybody, but like everybody's there. So yeah, if your reputation on the Discord gets ruined, it's like that's just as bad as getting a terrible credit score in real life.
You're right.
You're playing a solo game at that point.
They do credit checks too for your name. I got a credit check done for my name in Discord. Who are they called?
Oh,
Ben, you should
I know what
know
you're talking
this.
about.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is that the Octavius thing where they do the ranking or whatever?
I think it's called something with an A.
No, I know what
I
you're talking about.
I was gloating about it to you, Ben. I was like, I got a perfect score. They
Oh,
took
you're
my
always gloating. I don't know what you.
You're gloating too. Stop. We're the same.
Yeah.
But
well,
yeah,
that kind of goes back to the new vetting process we put in at UDU for members. We're not very open because we've had so much drama in the past and yada yada yada. But yeah, we do deep dive on your blockchain history and on your community posting history. If there's any red flags there, we'll throw out a please explain and go from there. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be blacklisted from the team or whatever, because, you know, everybody deserves a second chance. And like I've said dozens of times, if you look through my history, there'll be plenty of red flags. So, you know.
Yeah, I've been telling people a couple of times. I've said, like, that I have learned, like, way more times than I thought I would have in this game. I have learned that how something seems, not necessarily how it is. People are coming from a bunch of different perspectives, from different languages, I mean, sometimes I've seen things where like one person really thought it was a fight and it could not have been more of just a casual joke. It's, you know, that's the problem too when you don't have tone when you're typing.
Yep.
Yes,
yeah, 100%.
very much so.
And Morecheeese and I are forever like that. We'll say, wait, did you mean this? Yeah. That
And I'm
goes
like,
back.
what the hell do you mean by that? And he's like, no, stop.
Yeah, and even like regional differences within the same country, it's a unique position. I remember when I first moved to Japan, I was living in a company apartment and I had a guy from America. He moved in, and a guy from England. Neither of them had traveled outside their own countries. And like, I guess in England, they mostly watch British shows or whatever. In America, you watch, you know, American shows mostly. Where in Australia, we kind of get a bit of both. So we'd be sitting down together at the dinner table having
huge,
a drink.
Ben.
Yeah, I know, but like in general terms.
I mean, no, I gotta say, like, a lot of people judge Americans by the few they meet and by what they see on TV. It's like, my husband's from Finland, and whenever I go there, even his parents are like pleasantly surprised. They're like, oh, like, we thought you were gonna sound like Southern. Like, they think everybody from America talks
Texas.
They think America is Texas. Just big old Texas. Which, I mean, if that's what you believe in, like, you know, perception, it's all good, whatever. I'm from New York, so like, America's huge.
Wait a minute, you're from New York and you don't talk like this? You don't talk like you're from the Bronx?
I really try to hide it.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just making a joke about accents. Now I kind of feel
But yeah, like I'm not gonna judge you for something that Germany did. So why would you judge, you know, all of America for something TikTok Jimmy did?
No, I'm not judging. I'm just saying, like, I'd sit down at the dinner table with these two guys and we'd be having a conversation. And there were several times where they were nearly in fist fights because of the words they were using, or, you know, the way they were talking. They weren't used to that. And I had to like translate from American English to British English and say, no, hang on a minute, he means this. It was a weird situation. Yeah. And I know from having lived in totally different places within Australia, like when I moved from far north Queensland to Victoria, it's like you move into a different country.
Yeah.
Well, that's my point.
Like, America is big, and one of the things that happens from it being big is we get into arguments about our own definitions and stuff. Like, have you ever gotten into an argument with someone about what is actually Mexican food? Because in some places, Mexican food is this, and in other places, it's this. And it has to do with, like, what the Mexican food is along the border there, because space is big. Foods change. There's, like, more cheese in one than the other.
And it's the same with Chinese food.
There's like Texas Mexican food and California Mexican food.
It's the same with Chinese food. Like, in New York, the Chinese restaurants, when they're having lunch on the side, because they'll have their lunch, you never see them eating the same thing they serve.
Yeah, it always gets bastardized to suit the local climate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Give me extra MSG in my shrimp fried
That tastes way better. I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'm hungry now, man.
Me too.
Well, why don't we dive into the roadmap if we're hungry? Why don't we sink our teeth into that?
Analytic assassins, just so before I forget.
Yes.
Analytic assassins.
Well done.
They do good work.
Mm-hmm.
So we were going to sit down and have a look through the Agile roadmap, as Upland have come to call it. What does Agile roadmap mean to you guys?
I don't know.
I mean, Agile means able to quickly spin on the dime. So I guess that's accurate.
I feel like they call audibles on audibles.
Yes.
It's been fun trying to. I don't know. It's tough, like, because you do things based on certain planning, and then that's changing. So you got to adjust your strategy to adjusting your strategy to adjusting your strategy. But we're all in the same boat. It's been a fun journey with that.
Yeah, and Agile roadmap to me just sounds like we'll just do what we can when we feel like it. It's just like we're not going to commit to anything.
Quick and fast.
Do you want to share screen that link, Angela, or can you give me share screen abilities?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Now that I'm reading it, if it's a year roadmap that you're updating quarterly, I mean, I don't want to sound stupid, but didn't you just describe a quarterly roadmap?
Yeah, and as you know, if you look through, we can go down. They have a number of features, things that they definitely want to achieve, and things like stretch goals, which is pretty normal for a roadmap. But they have broken it down into Q1 and all the rest of it. So we've got the living roadmap, Q1 release objectives. We have high confidence that the following features will be released in Q1 of 2020. Like, this is an Agile roadmap, and it's still stating this Q1 2020. So the Spark token. What do you think about that?
I'm having trouble getting past the words high confidence. Agile roadmap and high confidence are mutually exclusive.
You would think, yeah. So the Spark token, I think we'd all probably agree that that's come through pretty successfully. I don't know that got released in Q1, but whatever, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt there.
Right. But no, yeah, it definitely came out.
Yep, and it seems to be working as was intended.
Yeah, I seldomly ever have an issue with it, ever.
Every now and then I'll see a building that clearly completed construction, but it's still showing up as that kind of gray thing.
Yeah.
Oh, because they didn't go in and activate
inaugurate it.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what does it?
Guys.
Yeah.
Oh, hell, I thought it was okay, I'm going to reach out to some people. You got to take the bottle and
smash it against the side of the building.
Yeah, no, they have to press that inaugurate button.
Right on, thanks.
You're gonna be efficient with all that, really. I mean, you see, like with the statuses, you see people with net worths above their status level.
Yeah. So the Spark token came out well. There was a bit of butthurt in the community that it started being put up for sale. How did you guys feel about that? Have you bought any additional Spark yourselves?
Yes.
Yep.
I have not. I was lucky enough to acquire a little over 5 Spark in total, so without having to buy it. So I haven't, just being in the game long enough, honestly, like just literally having an account from way back when, even though I wasn't involved in the community, that apparently helped me a lot.
For sure. Yeah, you would have been there for that first snapshot, which, you know, that would have been a huge help. New players coming into the game, I really feel for them, like starting from zero and not having much opportunity to get some, apart from scrapping and fighting for these 0.02 or 0.01s and all that sort of stuff.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely gonna be harder for them because they are newer. But with every new person has that FSA opportunity to be someone's FSA buyer, which we all know how lucrative that can be. And while that obviously inherently has to do with UPIX, you take the UPIX, you get the properties, and then you sell them for fiat. That's immediate money in your bank you can turn around and buy for at the next spark sale. So if they play it right, a new person could feasibly get like half a spark with for free.
True.
I didn't even look at it
Perspective,
like that.
yeah, 100%. All right,
I'm
so
just-
the next item on the list. Oh, sorry, Cam, did you have something to wrap up there?
Yeah, when was Spud like released and done? Because I have that little builder badge for doing a lot of the Spud stuff, but I didn't know, like, I don't know like what that like really qualifies for, or when that was over.
My memory's shocking for dates and times and things. I wouldn't even like to guess.
Yeah, I feel like that just seems so long ago. I have no idea at this point.
I miss
Yeah.
Spud.
We were only talking about that yesterday.
That builder badge was building in Woodward Park for that builder event.
Oh, that was
thanks,
literally
Liza.
luck. That was literally luck that I had a property there. I wasn't talking to people at that point.
Nice. So the next item is property development. With the introduction of the Spark token, permanent property development will kick off featuring upgraded building models and various improvements. So that's a big green tick on that one.
Yeah, I still want generic business structures, but that aside, I'm happy with what we have.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
I would like that too.
Just like a warehouse.
I think you need to do skyscrapers in New York, though. We need to do better than apartment buildings.
yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it still blows my mind why they don't just put the specs out there and let the community have at it.
Yeah.
They've done that previously with different building things where I think, what was that for your favorite property or something like that, where you could design your own 3D building.
Yeah, with Blender.
Yeah, all they have to do is put the specs out there and there'd be a submission process and they either approve it or they don't. You wouldn't think there'd be that much involved because, again, it'd be palming all of the work off to the community.
And I do know that when they did that challenge for people to design their own buildings and whatnot, part of the stipulation for that application process was that you had to be willing to work with the developer people on the back end, like on down the road to get it implemented, which clearly means that the idea of working together with the community has been discussed.
Yeah. So maybe it's just a case of patience. We may get there. All right, so yeah,
Game of Upland.
yes, I'm learning that myself. Yeah, soon, that whole soon mentality. Apparently soon can mean within the next 3 years.
It's all relative.
Yeah. The next one is the structure NFT. Builders will enjoy true ownership as their structures will be implemented as NFTs on the blockchain.
I guess.
Have we seen that yet for? Oh yeah, because they're talking about buildings there. Yep.
And it does show up in your asset wallet. So
yeah.
I guess yes.
Yes.
We have true ownership the same way we used to do as the properties at this point.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
Next one, object positioning on properties. Unlike the property development sandbox where structures were automatically positioned in the center, you could move it around, yada, yada, yada. We know that's the case.
Yeah,
it is a bit of a problem though. What problems have you seen with the whole positioning thing?
I personally haven't really had any.
I feel like they should have made a scale option to fit every single property size. Like if you want, I know it would look funny or whatnot, but like let's say you have a small property and you wanted to put a townhouse on it, you should be able to scale up to a certain percentage to be able to fit it in. Like maybe not an apartment building, that would be funny. That would be too messy looking or too out of place. But if it's just a case of like 1 or 2 pixels off, you should be able to have that ability to kind of scale up or down. Well, down, just down.
I think in general, the scales are way off. Like some of those small properties that you can't build anything on. If you look at the street view and you look at in Google Maps or whatever, there's clearly a 3-story townhouse there. there's something missing in the translation. My biggest gripe with the positioning is, like, if I want to build a row of townhouses, when you're in that building process trying to position it, you can't judge. There's no way to judge where you are in relation to the other buildings, because when you're positioning your building, all the other buildings are flat packed. So there's been several times there where I've started it and it's like, it's just a little bit out and you're like, man, that's really giving me the shits. So you got to demolish and start again. And
yeah, I've not really had that. I've never really like had the need to look next door, so I never really thought about it. But you're right, you can't compare during the one opportunity you'd have to actually like set it in stone. So that is a problem. You're right.
My biggest issue has been really that it doesn't just assume a good position for building. Like, I don't know why it'll tell you like, oh, you can't build here. And then it puts it in a weird angle. You go in and move it and it's fine. Like, there's some people who are just going to give up on that. Like,
yeah.
No kidding, doesn't fit perpendicular.
Like you're right. The place where everybody's houses are crunched together, I can't put it however I want. You're right. But you just assume a good position and then I'll move it from there. I don't understand that.
Yeah, well, there's so many buildings that are built backwards, or, you know, even one of the NFLPA buildings is built backwards.
I couldn't believe that.
That's kind of face palming. But I like too that there's some people in the community that's their niche. They're building all these like OCD triggering buildings, and that's their angle.
Hey man, I can tell everybody, you know, people say, what should they do? I say, find your game. Whatever this game is to you, that's your game. Do it.
Yeah, 100%.
That's backwards buildings because you want to trigger people? Cool.
Yeah. You might make a fortune getting people who want to buy and demolish,
Or maybe you just get schadenfreude and you're just really happy about causing pain and misery.
Some
Whatever.
people just want to see the world burn.
Yeah, some people just want to see the world burn.
The next one, we've got in-app NFT management. The Upland app will provide players with an easy way to access, view, and manage the NFTs they own.
Well, we can kind of view.
Yes.
Yeah, manage is manage. I can sell my properties. I can sell my that have structures on them. I can't sell my block explorers. I can't sell my upland cards yet.
And we can't do anything with the uploads that we did send through the portal.
Yeah.
I'm not sending anything through that portal yet.
No,
I did one as a proof of concept just to go through so I could tell people how it works if they asked, and that was it.
All right.
I sent one upland card, and then I realized that was my highest staking card. And
oh no!
Oh, you have to wait to get it back now.
They're like, "This is mine now, bitch."
Right.
Like a week
now that's a
two
tip swap you're gonna have to wait on.
Nope.
That fine print. Anything you put through this portal is now ours.
Yeah, so that's a kind of, but not really on that one. And keep in mind that was a Q1 goal there. So we'll skip over that one. Block Explorer NFT. Custom block explorers will include information about their explorer, number of mints, and the story.
I'll give that a green check mark. We got that.
Yep.
We got that pretty much straight up.
Yep, that was a pretty easy process for me too.
And I was really happy with the whole with the process of submitting the story for your NFT. When it came through, it was just like I typed it out. It looked exactly like I wanted it. We are still waiting on being able to change the background of the NFTs when we view them in our wallet. We were told we'd be able to at some point, but that's a small gripe.
Yeah.
I still feel like they did me dirty with my NFT, with my BE.
With the wide hips.
Not even that. The eyebrows, the huge lips. Like they turned my really like feminine block of cheese into Gary Sandler.
Sounds all right. It's close enough that I'm not unhappy with it, but I basically have like the Guy Fawkes mask. I can't see it because of my collections anyway, so it's largely unimportant.
Oh, there's some real shockers out there. I saw one recently where it was a boxer or something like that. I forget the details, but yeah, it was like, whoa, that's a real miss on that one.
The biggest win I've seen yet, this guy had it designed as an alien spaceship, and the way it worked out with the beam coming down, it just looks like he's beaming stuff up around the city. That was honestly the biggest win of a custom I've seen yet.
Cool.
Hmm.
The best one I've seen was Psychic Wars, which I ended up buying his account out, and I was trying to buy his Block Explorer too. Like I reached out to the team and said, "Is there any way that we can get this so I can get this as well?" Which was the skeleton guy with his laptop on his lap sitting on the toilet. That was my favorite one.
That's awesome.
That's a good one.
But the team said, "Yeah, it's technically that's feasible, but you're going to have to wait till Block Explorer shops." And I was like, "Damn it!" Like that's probably a $2 million Block Explorer right there. $2 million updates.
My favorite might actually be, I mean, obviously I'm partial to Skoobie, but
Pretty good.
aside
I like
from
it.
that, my favorite might be my Dark Rabbit one. I was really happy I was able to grab that because it's just really cool.
Yeah, there's definitely some good ones out there. So yeah, we'll say that's a big green tick on the Block Explorer NFT. The next one, the Upload token. Upload is a non-fungible token to represent NFTs through the portal, blah, 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 blah. That's crickets on that one, as far as I know.
Yeah, I mean, we know that the system works as a proof of concept because we are able to bring the cards through, but then that they sit there.
Yeah, but would you rather have them with Upland?
No.
No. No. I know from our planet, like I staked all my NFTs that I could on our planet and thinking, oh, this is great. I'm making some, what is it, ether or something. But then when it came time to get them back off, my Lord, that was a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I could only do one or two a
I'm pretty
day.
for sure the collectibles that you see in your asset wallet is the upload token. It's not your actual Upland collectible. On the backside, it's the upload token.
I think he's right. But like,
Yeah,
so
but
it doesn't really do anything.
It's the token itself, and there is a link on it to the Wax wallet of Upland where you can actually see their custody of it.
Oh, that's cool. So it's probably there in the back end. It just hasn't been communicated or whatever.
Yeah, Upland's basically going to be an escrow for all NFTs, and they're just giving you IOUs. That's technically what upload token is. It's an IOU.
Yeah.
Cool. And the next one, the NFT portal beta, Upland meets blockchain heroes. Well, we know that went through without a hitch pretty much. So we can probably skip over that one. So again, those were all the Q1s that they were pretty well sure of. So there's a few misses there, obviously, but a lot of green ticks. The next one is Q1 development initiatives. The development of these features will start in Q1, but they are most likely to be implemented in Q2 of 2021. Oh boy.
Here we go.
So Q2 is what, March?
Here?
Or April, isn't it? Q2 is April? It starts in
It
April?
was 3 months, so January, February, March, then April, May, June. So it would be April to June.
Block Explorer shops.
No. The answer is no. Big red X.
But apparently coming soon.
They said by fall.
Q4.
Q4, yeah. So maybe a delay on that one. Multiple items on property. Multiple structures and portable items will be allowed to be placed. This is basically to do with outdoor decor, I believe. So you would have your house and then you can put your swimming pool in the backyard, yada, yada, yada. Q2, big red X on that one.
Yeah. Not even applicable. We don't have items to place. Even like, forget multiple. We don't have one. We have a house.
We can't
and you can't even put more than one house.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you can't even put two buildings on as Cam's just said there. So yeah, big red X on that one. Staking Spark for other Uplanders projects. Players will be able to stake their Spark resources in favor of other players' construction projects.
Yeah.
Yep. That works well.
And that's created, this is probably one of the biggest green ticks where, well, is it a tick or is it a, I don't know what you call it, but because of some other features that aren't there yet, which we'll get to soon, this has become a major part of the game, the in-game Spark kind of economy, basically, the renting, the borrowing and lending and that sort of thing. Have you guys got involved much in renting or lending as far as, you know, building for yourselves personally or with iCON?
I've been renting 9 Spark. Oh, go ahead, Cam.
I was gonna say I rented a ton during that competition. And I lent out a little bit before it, a tiny bit after, but now I'm pretty much just building up with Mosswood.
And I've been renting 9Spark a week for like, I don't know, like a month at this point, and I've just got that going. I'm doing that every week until Mosswood is done.
Yeah, I've just dipped my toe in that recently too. I think I'm about 2 weeks in, and I'm renting 20. So, I mean, I wish there was a ability to do that all in game, because it is a lot of additional work, you know, communicating, and you know, you'll have a building that's finished and you want all the people, like, you're paying for this spark, you want it to be put to use, and you're like, hang on a minute, come on, I want you to move to the next building.
Yep, that's why I am very grateful for the relationship I have with Obe, because I'm able to just I give him a new address whenever that one finishes, and then he gives me a new burner property to buy once a week, and he maintains all the work on his end, and it's been very convenient. But I know the work that goes into that personally, it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
like they should be able to have, like, when businesses come out, people who apply to own Spark banks, and you know, if their credit is good, they own a Spark bank, and you can kind of deposit your Spark with them to be lent out at a premium, depending on how much you're lending out and for how long will determine how much you get and whatnot. I think that would be the best way to do it, for people to kind of like apply, and for people to apply to get it and to apply to give it, all in one avenue, with somebody doing all the work.
Yeah, there are brokerage systems kind of in place, community created brokerage systems, but what I've seen, the rates are crazy. Like the difference between their borrow and lend rates is huge. I took one look at it and I was like, well, I'm not getting involved with that.
Yeah, but if they were like in game and they weren't like a monopoly, there were several players doing it, you can kind of shop around and choose which one is the best for you. Like, it'll be like real life, but in the game, like kind of applying for a loan.
If transparency is there and people are able to see equally all the different options, then capitalism will be able to do what it's supposed to.
I would love that. Oh my God.
No, there's definitely a huge disparity in what you buy or lease it out at, and then just around the community who you're dealing with. Like, you can see competition still, like people paying as much as they were in the competition still if they're not looking around.
Yeah, for sure. Alrighty, moving on to the next one, landmark construction. Landmark owners in SF will be able to start construction using replica models, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, that just happened, right? Like,
that's a big green tick. However, there's landmark properties there that should be having landmarks built on them, but those players are gone from the game.
Oh, that's right. I did hear about that.
What is it? The Cult Tower or something? Yeah, it's just crickets. So that's a bit of a funny one.
Well, that's going to be something interesting to see if they're able to fix it by way of when they implement self-governance. We've been talking in iCON, just speculating about what self-governance can mean and everything. And one of our speculations is, like, if you have a neighborhood or even a city, I mean, however you want to, district it out. If a majority, in the real world, if a majority of the people vote for a vacant lot to be turned into a park or whatever, that's just what fucking happens. Oh, can I swear?
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. we say motherfucker in our intro, so it's all good.
That's right. That's right. You do. Yeah. But yeah. So we've been thinking in that regard. If that person, we know that Upland has been talking about putting in a program where you can bequeath your properties in the event that you don't sign in for a long time to someone who would inherit them. That's also like one-to-one with the real world. So maybe there's going to be a situation in the future where some of these vacant properties that have been vacant for X amount of time, the city can take a vote to reclaim the properties. That's what would happen in the real world.
It's a tricky one. That debate has kicked off in the community recently, and everybody has their own angles. Everybody's passionate. That's good. There was several backwards and forwards. It got quite heated at some points, but those conversations need to happen so that we can find the way forward. Now, whether the team listens to any of that and they just go ahead and do whatever the fuck they want to do anyway is who knows. But yeah, those conversations are definitely important.
You know what I would be happy with? I would be happy with if such and such player hasn't logged in for, you know, maybe 2 months, that they auctioned off that property and
2 months.
let me finish. I'll get the brush out. Yeah, well, I mean, what if they're sick? What if they're in the hospital? What if they got hit by a car, or they were like kidnapped or something like that? And 2 months is, I feel like, okay. And so anyway, so they auction off their property, and they get today's worth of their property, like, because that's what would happen in Monopoly if somebody couldn't pay or whatever, their property got auctioned off, and the highest bidder got it. And this way, the person would get that money.
Okay.
And they would get the worth of today's cost of that. Like, so let's say they bought it for 2K, but it's a landmark, and they ended up getting 800K for it. And whether they came back or not, Upland still got their tax cut. The person got their property. They have their money whenever they come back into the game. They have a crap load of money just sitting there waiting. Everybody's happy.
Yeah, worst case scenario, that's just UpX that goes out of the pool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I
think 2 months is too short, but
yeah,
Oh,
this
too
is one of
short?
the things. Yeah, that's
Me
why I
personally.
was like, what the hell?
I go 1 year.
Think of Cam. Cam himself is a prime example. Like, he started in SF when it was way back in the day, and then he didn't get back involved in Chicago. Well, he would have been booted out of the game and had all his properties sold when the floor in SF was probably 7K or something crazy low. And then he comes back in, a bit later, and all his shit's sold, and he's got bugger all up. So
I'm
yeah,
okay with like making it longer. I thought you thought it was too long.
No,
So yeah,
I'll-
1 year is fine with me.
Would be a good counter to it, honestly, would be just something like, if you can see grass, or it just looks like it's flat land instead of a blue square, or just if they can put like some kind of hologram on there, when the person comes back in, they can do what they want with it, but maybe put like a dummy house or something on it until the person comes back.
They go decrepit, yeah. That could be cool.
There's no reason that, like, let's say Quay Tower, you can't build on that. That guy's gone. I don't see any reason why the community couldn't donate Spark to a landmark, especially something like that, like to get that built. If that guy comes back and he really wants to destroy it, go for it. But that'd be stupid.
That's part of why
that touches. Sorry, that touches on you're not in control of your assets. There's that whole the people from the crypto side are very defensive about. Hang on, this is mine. You don't have any fucking say over this whatsoever. If there's a process in there where the team, which we know that they can, if they can fuck with your stuff, then the very thin veil of true ownership that we already have, well, that's gone. There is no true ownership.
That's why I like the idea of if it could only be decided by the self-governance feature, because then it would be the community itself making those decisions. And that's something we're really hopeful for in iCON, because we had that hacker that took a few of our Mossad properties. And so like we lost the police station, and we wanted to do some fun stuff with the police station. And right now it doesn't look like it. But if community governance allows any sort of avenue to reclaim something, then that's our next step. That's what we're hoping for.
That's probably the key. Yeah.
That's why I can see, like, even if it doesn't get the property transferred, because that's a real tough level of contention for me. Like, I don't know. I can see the argument both ways, but I don't see any reason why you'd be upset to have a property on your thing. If you come back 3 years later, you have a structure on your property. That's destroy it if you want.
It goes back to the saying, no good deed goes unpunished. So
yeah, exactly.
Sure.
But like I said, there's a lot of passionate opinions there. There's a lot of different sides to the story, so we shall not get dragged into that too deeply.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, the Spark Exchange. Players will be able to put their unused Spark tokens into the automated Spark Exchange, enabling them to earn UpX from players who wish to rent, blah, 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 blah.
Well, that's my bank sort of idea.
Yeah, it obviously hasn't happened, but
honestly,
I gotta say, I'm kind of in favor of your bank idea rather than the automated exchange. I think yours is more fun.
Put it into the players' hands instead of like the Spark Exchange sounds like a god thing, like a Upland thing, like government, like. Let's
Oh,
do
I'm a
Monopoly.
sucker for a decentralized exchange. Give me a decentralized exchange any day. I'd eat that up all day long.
Capitalism.
Yeah.
We've
How
been
about
so
you,
long
Cam?
without a spark.
You're an early crypto person like myself by the sound of it in that 2017 kind of era. What do you think about that?
I really like the idea of her bank, something more towards that.
Thank you,
We
Cam.
bet well because we've been so long without a spark exchange. I kind of like. I don't necessarily like all the steps in it sometimes, but I like the economy that's been built around buying
Yeah.
leasing and everything. There's a huge community there, and I think that it's a healthy thing to have in the community. So I think competition would be way better than just give that up to Upland, and that's not gamified anymore.
Exactly.
Exactly. I've
So-
told people before I'm gonna be sad a little bit when we get the exchange because I really enjoy the relationships I have now and the trust that's been built.
So do you think potentially that Upland seen what's happened and have moved away from this, or are they still going to want to set this up so they can get their cut?
Aiden already said that in his AMA. He said that they're not even working on the exchange. I don't think they have any intention on working on it anytime soon.
Wow.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, they're not working on a whole lot of things that are in this document. So,
Touche.
Yeah.
Touche.
I think they're realizing, and I think they need to take a step in certain directions, but I think they're realizing the community provides. They need. I like where they're able to give certain things to the community, but I think they need.
To give a little
I don't know.
more.
They need to take on ownership of some things, but I like that they're willing to give things away where it's working.
Yeah.
yeah, but it's kind of a case of neglect breeds creativity. You know, it's if they would just give us some specs or some like we were talking before we press record, the updated terms of service, all of those little things can assist in that happening. Like we can do our own thing. Just give us the framework, basically. We'll create our own framework. If you don't give us a framework, we'll make one. But
Yep.
you know,
There's so much help me to help you. Help me to help you.
yeah, exactly. All right. So engagement Spark rewards after the release of the Spark token, a certain amount of Spark will be utilized for rewarding players for engagement progression. Yep, we know that's definitely the case. They give out Spark and also with this upgrade system.
Yes, that's just a yes.
Yeah.
I've gotten sparked through some of those treasure hunts. I know it happens.
A lot of people have been burnt on this though. Like you see in the community, pardon me, players will get the notification, do you want to upgrade? And they press yes, but it's in that period where they're not offering this Spark reward, which it blows my mind that there's not like a set procedure in place consistently.
Even just an added bit of text on the ability to upgrade that says, "Oh, by the way, don't forget. Occasionally, we offer this type of promotion. You might want to wait."
Yeah, that disclaimer would solve it all for me. I knew when I got my last upgrade that I could have waited, but I wanted it, so I was like, nope, I'm not gonna wait. So I just was not patient. But if you put that out there, that's fine. There's better times to do everything in the world. Like it's better to buy a car at a certain time. That's real.
Yeah, for sure. Portable map item NFT players will be able to get creative and trick out their properties with cool and unique inanimate objects that are produced and sold in decor shops, and then go straight into the next point, outdoor decor shops. I think at this point everybody knows what an outdoor decor shop is. Within the Better Business channel, Idan basically said, same with the Spark Exchange, they haven't even begun starting to work on outdoor decor shops.
I couldn't believe when you said that last night.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. That blew my mind.
It was a
I
real
thought
kick
we
in
were
the
getting close
balls.
as the block explorers. I thought we were like right around the corner, or at least like a level after that.
I'm way more excited for decor than block explorers. I actually I'll sell block explorers. I want to buy decor.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, it was frustrating because I was granted my business license for outdoor decor in February, and we've been begging, pleading, give us some specs, you know, we want to start working. So I had artists lined up, I had a kind of mini team organized. You can't keep people on the hook forever. So all of that's gone now, and you essentially got to start from scratch. That's a huge whine of mine, that. But, you know, I assume we'll get there eventually. I hope that they just do right by those initial kind of pledges, almost like those initial licenses and whatnot. I hope we don't get the dirty done on us.
I mean, I don't even know what they're going to be. What part of the original business license agreement are they going to stick to, even in regards to the? I mean, is it still the plan? Still, there's only going to be so many per city, and you'll be able to rent them out if you want to, and or is it just like anybody that wants to can buy one? Or let's be honest, they're not even talking about it.
Let's be honest, they're not even talking about it as far as I know.
I was afraid of, yeah.
It goes back to that whole thing, like initially everything was supposed to happen in San Francisco, but now you can build anywhere. It just seems like now features come on board and it's just wherever. It's a free-for-all, so.
Yeah, that was weird when they were like, and East Coast. And I was like, oh, okay, so it's just West and East Coast, not in the middle. They're like, no, everywhere. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's not a coast then. That's just everywhere.
Yeah, it has to appease the new players in the game, but it definitely does dirty all the old players in the game who bought in heavily based on that idea, that promise almost.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll skip on that. Otherwise, I'm going to start.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm with you on it completely, 100%. I'm not even in the beta, and I'm pissed.
I know.
The next one, car NFT. So keep in mind, these are Q2 initiatives. Car NFT. This was, and the team came out and they were sharing screenshots and looked like work in progress, and got everybody whipped up into a frenzy. And then insert crickets chirping.
It got repoed.
It obviously got. It got what?
They got repoed, Cam said. Repossessed.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it got shunted to the side like so many other things. The only reason that I'm still more bullish on this than any of the other 20 things they pushed to the side is, like you said, they showed us what was clearly works in progress. So I've got a little more faith that like this one at least has something done in the works, even if it's been paused. I believe it's off the whiteboard.
Yeah.
Do we know if it's actually like anything working on that besides like a model though, or is that?
No, I don't know at this stage. In a game, it is a game. We always need to be mindful of that. In a game that is severely lacking in gamification of any kind, this was a kind of a little nugget that we were all kind of clinging onto. Yeah, that'd be awesome. You know, car upgrades, and you know, you can trick it out and this, that, and the other thing, and races and whatnot. But yeah.
And we were talking about how that could be even scaled down to like bicycles and scooters and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll have to say that's a bit of a weird one, a bit of a miss there. So that was all the Q1, Q2 kind of goals, initiatives, however they wanted to word it to wiggle out of things. Near-term prioritized features. What the hell does that mean?
Q1, Q2, and shit, we hope soon.
Just looking at it, looks like we've got a couple of ticks here. Property to USD open better. Am I correct? That's open to everybody now?
Yeah, as far as I know, they even took away the requirement to go to San Francisco. Now you just got to go online and fill out like a Google form.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just got to do the KYC. So we'll give them a big tick for that one. That's I haven't got really involved in that too much myself because I'm just wary of the whole tax situation.
Oh well, hold on. We can't give them a big check mark because the last sentence says that it's going to be extended to other types of NFTs, turning Upland's property to USD into an NFT to USD, and we're definitely not there yet. I mean, yeah, if you sell the property, if there's a structure on it, they get the structure, but that's just because they're tied together.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess the other thing was that until everybody kind of blew up about it, you weren't able to use your USD balance to buy things in the game with USD.
You weren't?
You weren't able to. Everybody blew up about that. Like when they first came out with Spark and that sort of thing, I think you couldn't use your Tilia balance. You had to put in fresh US dollars.
I missed that blow up. Man, that's come on, guys.
Yeah. But as far as I know, that's all been sorted out. So I have started to sell a few bits and pieces just so I can get, a couple of hundred in there. So the next Spark sale, I might have a crack at that myself.
I was able to buy my legits with Tilia.
That's what I've been hearing. Yeah.
It was so smooth too.
And that's what we want to see. It's all well and good to have these things in there, but you need to be able to do something with it.
Yeah, keep all
up-
the money. Keep all the money in Upland. Honestly, man, that should be the biggest goal at this point, and not have it leave.
Yep. Because that gets back to my concerns triggering the tax man, red flags to the tax man and whatnot. And you get double dipped on your taxes. You got to pay the Tilia fee and the PayPal freaking fee, and
if it's within the first year, you get any profits got capital gains and.
I basically have just been taking, like, I don't really sell almost anything in USD. I've done it a couple times where it's just, I don't know, I randomly threw that property up for USD, but I basically just use it as a buying vehicle at a lower premium when possible.
Same.
Same, yeah. All right, business license, NFT, business specific licenses will be tradable NFTs. Well, this is, it's a massive crickets on that one. We've already discussed that. Businesses are apparently still going ahead, but to be determined. Art NFT. Artists will be able to create NFT art inside of Upland to be displayed in Upland homes and later on traded in Upland run galleries.
Yeah, that's an example. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're right. You go for it.
I was just gonna say, man, so that's where I'm sure they're gonna offer an official version of that in some capacity, but that's where I'm just like, just give us the ability to bring in an NFT through the portal and put it on a wall inside of our structures. The community will make galleries out of that. Just give us that basic functionality.
Well, it goes back to Cheese. It goes back to our last episode guest.
Goodwill,
Mr.
yeah.
Goodwill. Yeah, he's an artist. He's all about that sort of stuff, and they have the mechanics there. Like we know last year with I always talk about this, the Halloween event, which I loved. You could enter a property that was on your building, and you could watch a video.
No, I wasn't here for Halloween. This will be my first October. What happened?
So they put a challenge out where they gave us some specifications. It had to be a certain amount of length and this, that, and the other thing, a certain format. Create a video and submit it. If you're successful, then what happened was I wrote a little mini script with my family, recorded this funny little sketch and submitted that. So that was accepted as part of the competition. The team built a haunted house on one of my properties that I nominated. And then several other players who had this happen as well, who put in submissions, had haunted houses. So the map in San Francisco, I think there was about a dozen haunted houses, and it was like a little mini tour. You could go and visit all of these properties. So you'd click to my property, send to it with the normal mechanic, and like the San Francisco Town Hall, there was an ability to enter into the haunted house almost. And within that, you could then press play and watch the video that I had submitted. And same for everybody else. So those mechanics, the basic core mechanics, are there from almost a year ago.
I've been talking about trying to put in movie theaters using this exact kind of thing forever. And here you're telling me that Upland has the functionality, they're just not giving it to me?
Yeah, you can go back. If you look on the Upland channel, if you search for Halloween, you can see all the submissions.
I'm going to now.
Sturs Mellon did an awesome one with the nasty hooks. Like the song they did up for that, I freaking love that song, And that was it was really fun.
I'm doing that right after this podcast. I'm getting on YouTube. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So the mechanics, it's all there. All the structure is there. Whether they're just trying to work out how to do it as an NFT rather than just,
a YouTube video or something.
Yeah.
So knowing that we have features that are basically done, they're just literally not implemented. How long are you guys comfortable with, like, these legits pushing off other developments within Upland? Because obviously I accept like some of it. I definitely accept even a good amount, but like how many quarters behind are we going to get?
I will be accepting if the roadblock here for something like this system, the art NFT, if the roadblock is the technology and the code, that's totally fine. I'm on board with that. If the roadblock is they're fucking chasing squirrels, man, I'm pissed.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%.
Yeah, that's
why I keep saying, like, what week of the NFL are we in? What week is this? 3? 4? I don't know. I'm actually asking.
4.
I don't know.
We're in week 4.
Week 4. Okay. If these legits are supposed to be in any way correlated to this season, let's go.
We're also so there's also the issue we're in the 2021 season right now, and they
Still
initially
waiting on our
released-
2020 legits.
yeah. So I have no idea what's going on with that, and I've seen a lot of
Which-
people forth on that.
They might be selling more 2020 legits. I don't. We're getting off track. We're getting.
I kind of feel like they are really unorganized, that they don't have enough people kind of keeping them on track, and they're chasing squirrels, and they're like, oh crap, it's almost the new year and we haven't done A, B, C, and D. So let's kind of push, this other stuff away that we promised to get this out and hurry up so we can get back. I kind of feel like I'm very hopeful for the new year being, okay, sorry about all the kerfuffle. We're now up to date. We're caught up. We're going to start doing everything that we promised you. Here's a roadmap. Hold us to it, yada, yada. I'm crossing my fingers on this. That this was just really messy, unorganized play on their part, and they just got caught with their pants down.
Yeah,
Yeah, one thing.
Yep.
I was saying, we're nowhere near the next thing that's going to be on this list. We're talking about the legits and whatnot. We haven't gotten our legits pack. I think Ethereum blockchain interoperability is a long way away.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
we'll
pretend
get to
I'm not ready
legits a bit further down because I know that's mentioned down there. This one's a tricky one because it does say the Ethereum integrations, but we have the CryptoKitty Island, which is Ethereum, and that was done ages ago. So
That's fair. That's fair.
yeah, not that you can do anything with them, but I think that's in there.
They seem to
Can
be
you
doing
even
better
still
than
bring
the
them in?
upfront card.
That I don't know. I think that might have been a limited time deal. I'm not sure on that one, but yeah,
Right.
the mechanics
you
are
can't bring
definitely
any
there.
more in.
Okay.
So
that
then,
was
yeah,
just a
it-
one time. Yeah, that was just a one-time deal. There was a deadline on it.
So
Yeah.
they did a proof of concept to make sure that it worked, and then crickets.
And then it's just dusty on the whiteboard, probably. Yep. Businesses, NFT galleries. Well, we've kind of already talked about that. Yeah, that's all of these things are a big miss. NFT galleries, crickets, cafes.
Don't even get me started.
Cafes,
I don't
car
even want to talk about
dealerships.
cafes. You know what?
Car
The one thing we know
dealerships.
about cafes is that they don't require a fucking cafe. That's the only thing we know.
Yeah,
That-
and you
that
can't.
one
You
hurt.
don't have a cafe structure to build on it. You got to build a freaking townhouse. That's your cafe.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it was pure speculation, so like I'll eat that, but I have bought so many named properties on the secondary market and just did nothing but search like for named properties across cities and minting, like just in the hopes of businesses. And then we say like, oh well, it's good advertisement still. Put a structure on there, it's no longer advertisement.
Yeah.
Yeah, that disappears, doesn't it? Yeah. And cheese is all about those named ones too. So you put a bit
Yeah.
of effort into that.
Yeah, I'm all about the McDonald's, Burger Kings, and Dunkin' Donuts.
Right
I
on.
still like a good street view, and I still put a premium on them, but that was a huge like game plan or kink in my plan at that point.
And
Yeah,
since we
car
know that,
dealerships. Oh, sorry,
since
go
we know
ahead,
that
Stu.
I was just saying, since we know that cafes don't actually require a labeled cafe, we can therefore deduce that car dealerships will not require a labeled car dealership.
Absolutely. And a lot of people went in deep on that on the secondary market, buying all those up and were horrified to find out that, yeah, that'd be cool. Like, if you have a Honda labeled property in game and you want to do a kind of Honda themed dealership, but that's not necessarily the case. It doesn't mean anything. It would just be a kind of quirky bonus.
Yeah,
so we're
'cause
just waiting to
even
see
they
anything.
asked about it on the AMA, and he was really fast to say, no, they're not going to have any. You don't need to have a gas station or a car dealership to create one, and people were very disappointed.
I too was surprised at how quickly he said, "Nah, don't worry about that."
He
I'm like,
said it
"What?
quick,
Don't worry
didn't
about it."
he?
Well,
Yeah.
okay.
But
You're the
we have
boss.
a system. We have a system now where block explorers are potentially coming out soon, like within the next month or two. Those block explorer shops are going to be apartment buildings. It's going
And it's just gonna be consignment. There's not gonna be any new block explorers to come with them that I'm aware of.
Yeah. It's, anyway, we're going backwards there. We'll try
Sorry,
to
I'm
dig
sorry.
back in. No, that was me
We're
as
not
well.
going backwards.
Home experiences. Uplanders will be able to customize the inside experience of their primary residence and display their NFTs for other Uplanders to admire. Well, we don't have the primary residence. There's nothing being done there. There are no inside experiences. Yeah.
I think they tried with those luxury home things, but I'm not interested in building a luxury home, to be honest.
I've
I
got
just
like
wanna
2
make
luxury
money.
homes and 3 apartment buildings, and it doesn't matter because I can't walk inside any of them.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it gets to the next point, the primary residence. Now we know primary and the next one as well, neighborhood ratings and collections points. All of these are related. We know that in some fashion, the amount of primary residences, the amount of structures, all of this is going to go towards a neighborhood rating. And from that, collections are going to spawn. Now, iCON's been heavily involved in this. I know the UDU has, as well as several other groups. We're doing what we can with the information that we have, but there's no guarantees here. Like we keep telling everybody who's buying into the UDU nodes, this could all be for naught, but we're doing what we can with the information we have.
Exactly. Absolutely. So we reiterate basically those exact same points, help out what you can, because we are trying to do something great here, but never overextend yourself. Don't put anything more than you can afford to lose. And again, yeah, like you said, this is the information we have. It's 80% speculation and 20% okay, maybe. And that's where we're just like, all right, we know that building things will matter. So let's build things.
Yes.
This is true.
A big question that I have is, will you have a home residence? Do you have to have a building on your property to claim a home residence, or can you claim a home residence on an actual, nothing on the property,
So you, from what I understand, you will need to be able to have a structure, and that's where the different structures have the different living spaces. Like an apartment building has 8 or whatever. So if you don't own a structure and you want a primary residence, you will be able to rent out one of the living spaces in somebody else's structure.
My conclusion is that we are at least a year away, maybe more than that. If they're expecting a huge influx of new players from this NFLPA, which is what they've been saying very vocally, and who knows, because they haven't really made an announcement on it yet. I mean, we don't even have like 1/10 of the buildings, the house, all the Uplanders that are currently playing in the game. So if we're going to have a huge influx of new players that possibly will stay on, it's going to take a long time. There's not enough spark in the market, to house all these people in a short amount of time.
They're going to unroll a bunch of sleeping bags because there's not a whole lot of right now.
The homeless
Make
problem
San Francisco
comes to
look
the
like
metaverse.
San Francisco.
Yeah, well, we know this could potentially be huge. Like take the iCON hood of Mosswood, for example. I think you're well over 20% developed at this stage.
Yeah, we've got like 22 or 23% completed, and that equates like 95 buildings or something at our last count, something about that.
Yeah, and we know that like as that percentage bumps up, that's going to increase your neighborhood rating. And what I wasn't aware of until recently was once that collection has been spawned, there's the opportunity there to upscale that collection. So, you might start off as a limited collection, but if you continue the progress and development and you get more people to nominate as primary residents, well, you might end up bumping up to that rare or whatever. So, yeah, this could be massive in that new players, they won't have a property, but it comes to that whole rental situation where you're renting out space within the property. Like if you want to get involved in, Midtown Terrace or Mosswood or any of these ones that potentially are collections, well, you're going to have to rent out, I don't know, do you have to rent out one space in there to achieve the collection, or are you going to have to, like the normal collection system, are you going to have 3? Are you going to have to rent out 3 places to achieve the collection? I don't know. It's
and we don't know.
Yeah.
That's why I'm super bullish on UDU, iCON, whatever groups are really out there as of right now. That's why people aren't bullish on them or even trying to participate. At least like they're going to lose out a lot, because I mean all these new players that come in the game, yeah, they're going to buy whatever property they want, but once they really start getting a grip on the game and they start understanding like neighborhood collections and hey, this neighborhood's only 2% built. Oh, UDU and Midtown Terrace is what, like at that point in time, 75% built. iCON and Mosswood is 80%, 75% built. Yeah, they're going to fly towards the light,
Yeah, we've picked up the ball and run with it. So for us, it's going to be about pivoting. If we get new information, it's about making adjustments, not starting from scratch.
Exactly. Yeah. And then that's after we get stuff built, then we can focus on the ranking of, because they said that another factor is going to be people's individual rank, and that like that'll have like community engagement supposed to be a factor of that. They haven't said how they're going to measure that.
Yeah. Like most of these things. Yep. Going to the next point, travel by car, Genesis racing. We know that's all associated with the car NFT, so that's all a big, yeah, please explain or wait and see. So we can probably skip straight over those. Although this does sound awesome. This is the gamification that we're all screaming out for.
Yep. And yeah, Battle Royale, which is clearly supposed to be Battle Royale.
Yeah. Yeah. So I haven't even read this. What is this? With the recent success of Sandbox Wars generating interest, blah, 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 a new Battle Royale mechanic will offer players the opportunity to team up and launch competitions on demand. So this is community
the Battle
run.
Royals are very popular gaming nowadays. And like everyone's doing that. Whoever is not doing it are trying to do it. And I think they want to kind of, if they can do this, I think this is where they'll get the most of their customer base, to be quite honest. I feel like even though it's not something I generally would be interested in, I'm not a big Battle Royale person. I know I like games like Overwatch, but last person standing kind of thing is not my thing, but it is the most popular thing out there. So I think if they can get this kind of going in a way, they have a chance of getting an influx.
Well, it's play to earn, isn't it? At that point, it's play to earn. You're putting in game mechanics to get players engaged, and you're earning UPEX. I would assume if it's a competition, there has to be prizes.
This is one of the most Upland written sentences I've ever seen in my life. It's so specifically vague and vaguely specific. Just like what you know, and generally in a battle royale, it's usually a shooter or some sort of violent mechanic where, like you said, it's the last person standing. How exactly do we? I mean, team up and launch competitions. Okay, that are battle royale. Okay, so and in Upland, battle royale of the last person standing. What? Are we gonna shoot each other?
No, that 100% is a buzzword there. I don't see any connection. I don't even see it being like, because you have fun battle royale style games that aren't even shooters now. That I can't think of it right now, but you run around with the little guy. There's like 100 of them, and at the end, you're the last one standing. You just do mini games. That's not going to be this thing either. As I read it, I see competition, but I don't see any sort of eliminate. I don't know. That could be absolutely anything.
It could be like a capture the flag. It could be anything. I mean, they have trivia. They have so many contests for UPX and whatnot. Why not something popular? Why not something that will bring new interest in? Like, I personally wouldn't, just like the football, I'm not interested in football, but I know it's money. I know people are interested in it. I'm not interested in a battle royale, but I know people are interested in it. And whether or not they play for money or not, like we already have contests that we do for money, like whether it's trivia or those, what is it, where you figure out a riddle and you go to the place or whatnot.
Scavenger hunts.
Scavenger hunt. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I kind of see like a metaverse being everything, like including everything. Nothing, it shouldn't really be. I feel like the OGs that got into Upland and they got the property and they're building, they're going to be the ones that benefit for all the new players coming in to play the games and need a place to stay and need a car to rent and want to buy some stuff. Like, I don't think everybody, once this goes into alpha or out of beta, which is the same thing, I don't think everybody's going to have the same opportunities as the OG people, but there's going to be new opportunities to kind of win stuff and do stuff. And I think the people who are in it from the beginning will benefit the most, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'm hoping. I'm
Everybody has the same opportunity as far as coming up with ideas for competitions, so that might level the playing field there. Like, obviously there'd have to be some kind of kickback if you're setting up a competition and managing it and running it. I know,
Exactly.
I assume that iCON runs in-house competitions and that sort of thing, like we do at UDU, just for, again, it comes back to lack of gamification within the game, while the community makes their own kind of fun almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we've been we throw our own different events and everything. Yeah, and exactly, there are lots of different community events, not just in iCON and the UDU, but in a bunch of different communities and stuff. So I don't know if this is a situation where Upland saw that communities were doing it themselves, and that's why we haven't heard much about it since apparently it was in this roadmap, or if it's just another thing that's on the whiteboard that we'll see how it works. I mean, we need a reference point to really understand what that is, because that battle royale, like I agree with Cam, it's a buzzword. Yeah,
it is. But it's funny when you say we do our own competitions, like iCAN does the trivia and UDU does how many shit pies can you create.
Yeah. We'll put a pin in that one. We need the battle royale with cheese. There you go.
there you go.
Next one, city expansions, contingent with Upland's economic development, yada, yada, yada. Existing cities may be further developed with new peripheral expansions to support growing communities. So what that's talking about is we started with Fresno and that expanded to Clovis and that sort of thing. They've blown right past this and now they've gone in full expansion mode.
I mean, I guess technically expanding New York City would count as well, because those are just different boroughs.
Yep. So yeah, we'll give them a kick on that one, I suppose.
Yeah, but
in-app user interaction, communication, and activity feed. A significant part of today's interaction between Uplanders happens outside of Upland. Blah blah fan-based channels. Upland will start integrating features that would allow more and more of these types of interactions to take place in Upland through newly added features and improvements on existing ones, including the ability to follow other Uplanders via a personalized activity feed. Wow, that sounds cool.
Yeah, right? What a great idea.
No.
No, the answer's no.
No.
You didn't do this. You did none of this.
And to be honest, I haven't even heard of this until I just read it, then.
Me neither. They gave us what could barely be called any sort of property management tool, in that you can kind of organize what you're looking for of your own.
Not when you're trying to make a trade, though.
Oh yeah, not like when you'd actually need it, but
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. So yeah, I don't even know what that is, but it sounds good. But obviously, we'll skip past. Leasing Upland utility NFTs and paying Uplanders for services. A new type value proposition for utility NFT owners in Upland, such as place for residence, car, blah 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 blah. A win-win mechanic. So yeah, we've been careful in Midtown Terrace to not build out every single available scrap of land. Leave a few here and there for parking cars and whatnot. I assume this is talking about that, where you're going to have to pay up. If you're parking your car in somebody's space, there has to be an in-game mechanic for transferring to pay for that, basically.
I guess
they put that onto buying burners. Next question.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Whatever
Yeah.
they mean by that, you're right. The answer is that we're using burners for whatever that is going to supposed to be. I think that is talking about a more general service that would include from leasing out business licenses all the way to, like you're saying, with parking lots. I think it's maybe even the Spark Exchange. I think it's literally just talking about that type of utility of being able to lease out whatever. Yeah, the various services there. Yeah. So
yeah.
Yeah, burners.
We've been screaming for this. Give us a way to pay people within the mechanics of the game. I don't know. Maybe they like the fees with burners, or maybe it's a situation where they don't want to further encourage multi-accounting. I'm not sure.
You can put fees on a direct transfer, though. I mean, when I do a wire transfer out of my bank, it costs me $50. So
Yep.
take your cut, Upland. You're already taking 10%. We all know you are. Just keep doing it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, next one, true movement speed. As of today, block explorers move between properties, blah, 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 blah. When true movement speed is implemented, the timing of the sequence of sending your block explorer would depend on the physical distance between your block explorer and the destination. Obviously, this takes into account if you're in a car or whatever else they're going to bring on board.
Oh, so wait a second. So that means if you want to send your player from one side of San Fran to the other side, if you're not in a car, you're going to go slower?
Right.
Yes.
Probably.
Whoa.
And if your car is not upgraded to the latest Fandangle frickin' thing, well, you're going to go slower than somebody who's put in bulk money and upgraded their shit to the max.
Whoa.
And that's where
So-
we're talking about. You could have bikes and scooters. That would be that in between.
Yeah. So this is going to play in heavily, of course, to the treasure hunt mechanics. And
Yeah.
think about when you're minting new cities and trying to jump to new properties. This could potentially be huge.
Also for legits. I mean, I know we've been kind of down on them, but the way the legits are supposed to work, not just for sports, but also for music and other things coming out, is you're going to have a live event in the real world, sports, game, concert, what the fuck ever. And in Upland, you have an incentive to get your ass over there. This is going to affect that.
Yeah.
Of course, we need this and we need that. We have neither right now.
Yeah, I had a funny thing recently. I think it was at the end of Rutherford. After I went into Metaverse properties in Rutherford, I got straight back on the train to where I was going, Chicago, I think it links to. But when I woke up in the morning and it said, "Do you want to disembark?" I disembarked. No, I was supposed to be going back to Manhattan. I disembarked. I was in San Francisco. I was like, "What the?" So I tried to send to one of my properties in San Francisco, and it's like, "Oh, you can't send to this property because you're not in the city." So I'm like, "Okay." So I tried to send to one of my properties in Manhattan, and my block explorer zoomed straight away from San Francisco straight to Manhattan. It was kind of really weird. So there's a glitch in the matrix.
Was that when the city was like first released?
No, it was at the last part. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because so I remember there was an issue with like one property back. I can't remember which city it was. Maybe it was like Staten Island, where like you didn't actually have to take the train if you sent your block explorer to this one property. It would just like hop over.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's a few exploitable glitches in the matrix.
Hey, it's Upland. It happens. That happens with any tech company. I'm not even knocking them for it. That's honestly part of the fun. Finding little stuff like that. That's a whole lot more fun than the disco ball.
Yes.
I've actually noticed a problem with their 2FA recently. I don't know who to address about that.
Yeah, that's becoming
Upland.me.
Yeah. That's a big whine, that one. The 2FA thing. Next one, blockchain infrastructure improvements. It may not be always visible to the community, and in brackets, neither should it be, but a significant amount of our development efforts go towards harnessing the power of blockchain in favor of all uplanders. Seamless, blah, 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 as we prepare to get out of beta and offer Upland to mass audience. The user experience with blockchain elements needs to be perfected. A good example is micro-forking, blah, 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 blah. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Micro-forking, it's talking about how when people...
Oh, no, I know what a micro-fork is. I just mean in general. What does this paragraph mean? Does this mean that they are building a game on the blockchain? We already know that.
I don't know what the parentheses, like, and neither should it be. Like, it may not always be visible to the community, and neither should it be. Like, that kind of sounds very passive aggressive.
Yeah, well, it's preemptively defensive. Yeah,
yeah. And don't.
I know it doesn't look like it, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. You don't need to know everything.
Yeah, doesn't this whole paragraph go without saying? Like, isn't this implied? If you're building a blockchain game, you're going to look to improve on it?
You know what, this, in all seriousness, this to me is very clearly something that was written before they went through their revamping of being transparent with the community after the shit fits that were thrown after Kansas City, because this is a way different tone than how they addressed the community feedback in the last few weeks.
People were trying to leave like in droves. I mean, these, I don't know.
Whereas this
I
seems like
just-
way more of a pat on their back.
Yeah, yeah, it really does.
Yeah, it's we know that they're building stuff at the leading edge of what the technology is capable of. We get that, but you know.
I would
this
argue
makes
though
sense
that
to-
it should be visible, and
should
if it's
be.
not visible, that should be on them to make it so. Don't tell
Uh-huh.
me, don't tell me exactly how you're locking the doors, but like show me the locks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't look at what I'm doing. Listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's
I
basically
like
what they're
I
telling
like
us.
what you said. Sorry, yeah, I like what Skoobie said in one of the iCON podcasts, I think, where you said, I might not necessarily personally know what the hell you're talking about when you explain it, but I can talk to somebody who does. There's a lot of very smart people in the community who will know exactly what you're saying and will be able to poke holes in it or ask clarifying questions and that sort of thing.
Oh yeah.
All right, so that one's a weird one. Partnerships and brands. The Upland team is actively working to get well-recognized partners and brands from outside the blockchain or crypto-related markets to participate in the metaverse. 2021 may see the first fruits of these efforts. Yeah, that's fair enough.
I mean,
we know they've
yeah.
been plugging away. At the detriment to everything else, you could argue.
Yeah, exactly. It's, I mean, like it or hate it, you can't say they did not do that. They absolutely did this one.
Yep.
Better or worse.
The next one will be quite triggering, I would think. Pro tools, dashboards, statistics, property management tools. Oh, look, Camsy's grown already.
I can't even get mad.
I literally skipped the whole Uplander phase in the very beginning of the game, went straight into pro because I was like, I don't know much about this. I'll throw $100 at it. I didn't for a while after that, but I was like, I want to be able to do businesses. I want to be able to do this pro stuff. That entire thing has not been addressed at all. Any of that.
Yeah, well, it says Upland will provide statistics, trends about properties within the game and reports for transactions made by the player, as well as information about market transaction history. This will give players easy access to important information about the market and their individual activity. Now, this is very important when it comes to those tax red flags. This is constantly being raised. Are you going to provide us with any details? Basically, Upland has done nothing.
I wanted to be able to play like a pro. I bet you a lot of other people. I bet you there's a lot of people who throw $100 at this game. I cannot be the only one.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Come on now. I've thrown. Anyway. No, but in all seriousness, doesn't this sound like what they were? They said they were working on before UpX World basically did all the work for them.
Yes, it was before then. It also speaks to what they were setting up with what Up Squared Land was setting up to be. It's all correlated. Does this come back to the pivot? Like we know that Upland started as a property trading game, and loosely metaverse related. Then it kind of evolved into an NFT platform. Then it's evolved into this, well, what do they call it? A football metaverse, whatever the hell that means in the ad. Is this something that was there when their focus wasn't necessarily on the NFT side of things, and they're just another dusty thing on the whiteboard? Obviously, it's a property trading game at its core. We need property management tools. We've been begging, pleading, screaming, demanding for at least, I've been in the game for 20 months and I've been whinging about it for at least 18 months.
Yeah, I've since, I mean, I think everyone can pretty much I identify with this, that, from the day one that you entered, you've been seeing people complain about this. And that's it. That's the end of that sentence, because nothing else has been done.
Yeah, it's relentless when you see that in the feedback channel. The same thing keeps coming up and up. Like a player will enter the game and say, hang on a minute, I need to be able to manage these. My God, it's a pain trying to manage these 20 properties that I have.
You can always tell, yeah, and you can always tell, I mean, not there's anything wrong, not anything wrong being new, but like it is a bit of a bellwether and a signal when you see someone being like, hey, I have some feedback for you. And you're just like, oh, buddy, they're not going to listen.
Pull up a chair, mate. Pull up a chair.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Here's your ticket.
Yeah. So,
If
all right.
you're not part of Discord, none of that's been addressed at all. Like I literally, from San Francisco through to Chicago, went and bought properties by looking over areas. Like, I didn't even know what neighborhoods were really important or anything like that. I paid $20 for something in Bakersfield early that's worth maybe 5 today. Like, there's all sorts of craziness.
And now we're just waiting to see if UpX World, or not if, but what UpX World comes back as.
Yeah, for sure. Alrighty, moving on. This next one will be triggering for a large section of the community as well. Airline terminal fee simulation. So this gets back to where if you own a terminal, you will share in part of the cut, basically. There will be some utility, some kind of gamification, pay-to-play mechanic associated with owning an airline terminal, or I assume like a train terminal or something like that.
Get your
I had
send.
totally forgotten this is a thing.
You get the send.
Yeah, you get your sends. Wow. A lot of people spent a lot of money early on, especially like when San Francisco and Manhattan first released terminals. Like, there was not many people who were willing to drop 1 million, 2 million UpX on a property. That was pretty rare at that stage, but they bought into this promise specifically.
I could definitely see being upset with that. I didn't even know that was a part of that. I never really looked at that.
Yeah, there's plenty of jaded OG players who bought into this idea and are just feeling like like I always say, the middle child almost. Like, what the hell? Hello, I'm over here.
I mean, I guess the plan is still to implement it, you know, in the future. They haven't canceled it that I know of, but
Soon.
yeah, soon, exactly. Yeah. So whenever we stop having sins, which I can't imagine Upland without sins.
No, Cam, you got it wrong. It's we foresee.
Yeah, we foresee. Yeah. And keep in mind that these are not we're only up to the point in the roadmap where we switch to midterm prioritized features. So all of those ones we've just discussed prior were pretty high priority.
That's right. I did say near term.
Yeah. So now we're getting into the midterm prioritized features. And these are pretty much laughable at this point. Businesses, arcades, realty agencies, Upland merchandise stores, theaters. Yeah. Joint ownership squads. I mean, there's a lot to unpack there, but there's a lot of dust.
And that's
I thought I had the idea for theaters. Apparently, I stole it from them.
I feel like we're at least 6 months behind at this point, or will be before we see any real progress in any of these other things.
Oh, I think you're being very generous there.
Yeah, I think that's optimistic. I'm going to say a year or two.
Yeah.
Well, I got my business license in February, and they haven't even started working on decor. So I think we're probably 18 months almost.
That's what I was saying. Basically, as of like today, like we're pretty much there. Like, how long before this stuff really, and how far are we going to kick this can?
Yeah. This is a bit some real stretch goals there. Joint ownership. Now this is one that I know the Alamo Square team were really heavily focused on and really excited about this when we read this. So Upland will allow players to team up, jointly own a property, share earnings, and trade their share in it. This feature will also support other features such as squads or monuments. So we know Alamo Square is a prime example where all of the properties are built around one massive central park it's nothing in the game right now. The Alamo Square community, that little group of us who have property there, we want to buy that out. We want to do something with it. This is referring specifically to that.
Now, what wasn't there during that St. Jude event with Stirs Merlin? Wasn't there a joint ownership buy on that one hospital that Upland gave to the community? I mean, I remember there was some kind of joint ownership aspect that happened there.
That St. Jude thing, I bought into that in Fresno. I think they set that up like there was a block that they had there. There was a whole row of properties, and you could just buy one of them. I don't think that was necessarily.
No, not the properties in Fresno. I'm talking about the one there in Manhattan that Upland ended up giving for that event. They matched however much was donated, they ended up matching, and they ended up putting a hospital on. You know, they sold a hospital or whatever for however much they matched it pretty much.
Yeah, I forget the details of that, but you're right. Yeah, there was something there in there.
And I remember like, yeah, like they split it in like 3s or 4s or something. Like I'd have to go back. I know Left House made had like a live event or something like that on it.
Yeah. I'll have to jog my memory on that one. And we've got that in Midtown Terrace as well. There's a massive, it's a reservoir in real life up in the top left-hand corner. We'd love to buy that out and do something there, but, you know, crickets.
Yeah,
Yep.
Oh, go ahead. No,
You go ahead. I was going to move on.
Oh, joint ownership would be great. Not here yet. That's when we got Mosswood Park. We that was a crowdfunded operation in iCON. So like me and a few others actually just like put our money literally together for me to make the purchase, and I'm just paying out dividends every like 6 months or so because we don't have this yet. This would have been so fucking convenient.
Yeah.
But yeah, here's hoping.
So, well, that's good that you at least had the ability to purchase that property, and then the community lacking the in-game mechanics to do it, you just did it yourself pretty much. So that's cool.
Yep.
All right, squads. Now, this was talked up very early on, and I remember when this idea came out, everyone was like excited. Oh, squads, that'd be cool. Team up with up to 4 Uplanders. So that we kind of started talking about that when it first came out, but the community's moved on so far beyond this now. Is this now defunct? Like, can iCON split up into squads of 4, but you got like 100 and something members?
Yeah, not feasible.
I'm gonna build the best squad at iCON. You guys are going down.
There you go. I mean, to that end, we could potentially use it for internal competitions or something. I don't know, but as an organizational effort, no, that's not functional. But like you said, that was way before this community got to where it was. So maybe they will revamp the squads and restructure it to be able to scale up.
Yeah, well, that's cool. It could be iCON and, you know, UU or whatever else is there for the Portage Park crew. They become their own squad almost.
Mm-hmm. Who knows?
I like the idea of like community competitions, kind of like that building competition where essentially the communities that were established went at it, and then you had a couple others form and give it a shot. I like that. I don't know about the 4 though. I think we're way beyond 4.
Yeah, I mean, like at its core, the core UDU management structure is 5 players. Who's getting the knife cheese?
Short straw.
Russian roulette.
Russian roulette. Yeah, those are 2 good ways to do it.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. All right, third-party NFT custodian for ultra-high value NFTs that are uploaded to Upland. A licensed third-party NFT custodian will be utilized. Until this feature is made available, the value of NFTs allowed to be uploaded to Upland may be limited. What?
So we've talked about how their escrow currently for the Wax blockchain whenever you use your upload tokens. This sounds like for really, really expensive ones that they would actually even outsource that escrow to, I guess, a externally trusted source, like a real life auction house or something.
So it sounds like don't give it to us. We don't want that responsibility.
Kinda, yeah.
I get it, but at the same time, like telling me not to trust you is kind of tough.
Right.
This is true.
But then that goes back to Cam, like sending through his most high value NFT, and he can't do anything with it.
Yep, right. I trusted him.
Should have read the fine print.
Right. I do think that this is a very good faith sentiment. I think that this is them trying to show how responsible they intend to be.
Advanced security. Upland will offer 2 new layers of advanced security. The first one would turn the password recovery process to be based on blah, 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 blah. The second layer will be generating your own private keys. Now, we know this is huge for the crypto people, myself included.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want my own damn keys.
Yeah.
Yep. We do know they have done a lot as far as advancing security, at least this year with, you know, the
2FA?
2FA, yeah, I was going to say FSA. The 2FA and the capture system and that, you know, it seems like they're doing what they can. Of course, there can always be improvements or modifications. But yeah, that private keys one, that is a big point of contention for the true ownership people who buy into that, especially, like I said, from the crypto background.
I like the idea of that being an optional feature.
Yeah.
I definitely
It
think
should be opt-in.
Yeah, because I mean, think about how many people, like myself included. I mean, I was crypto before, but how many people are like, I didn't know anything about NFTs before Upland, really. And I'm sure there's Upland is going to have people who have know nothing about really any part of this space coming in.
Yeah, I mean, try and hook grandma up with a Bitcoin wallet because you want to send her $100 worth of Bitcoin, and
Right.
the nightmare you got to go through to try and explain all that. So yeah, it would definitely have to be an opt-in, because you could see people getting themselves in a lot of trouble very quickly.
And that's part of what I think makes it work well right now, is how sealed it is. Like, like you really can only mess up if you just start selling stuff for no reason. Like as a game, I don't know why you would sell something cheap. Like that's still on you.
Yeah. The next one has been huge as well. This is something that I know I've been asking for well over a year. I call it the hit by the bus factor, but yeah, naming beneficiaries. Oh, how do you say it? Beneficiary. Oh, I'm not even going to try.
Yeah, beneficiaries. Yeah.
Yeah. What
you're right.
said. So Uplanders will be able to activate a voluntary contract that will pass all their assets to this is what was a bit weird to me, was to another Uplander named by them in the event that they have not logged in the game over a predefined period of time. This is a bit of a strange one for me. If I get hit by a bus, I want my family to be able to seamlessly, especially now, like I think my account is 80-something million UPX, where obviously the true value of that is much higher. That's a significant chunk of change. You don't just want that to disappear. Are there people I trust within the game to name as a beneficiary, to do the right thing by my family on the back end? Absolutely. But is that widespread for everybody? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, not everybody can just like get somebody in their family to sign up for an account for that, worst case scenario. It's just not feasible to assume that for everyone. So yeah, maybe there could be something to this, to where it would be okay, so when you go to send PayPal or whatever to somebody, if they have a PayPal account, great, but you can also just send them an email, and then it would let them set up a PayPal account to receive it. I think that kind of thing needs to be added here.
Yeah. There needs to be a portal for communication. Yeah. If in the idea as a whole, great. If in the case of this happening, then you send an email to the nominated person and they work it out. I know my wife, she's got no interest whatsoever in NFTs or this space in general, but she knows that there's money involved. And if she was to get an email, she knows that there's named people like Cheese or TD or these people that I respect that would do the right thing by her, working out and guiding her through that process.
Yep.
So yeah, that's one that we've been asking for a long time, and unfortunately I haven't heard any more about it.
I've only ever heard that it's coming. I've only ever heard that it is not like paused or pushed away. But yes, there has never been anything concrete as regards to timeline or anything. So next year, I hope.
I mean,
honestly, I'd let some of the things go for that to come up first and foremost at this point. If I got in a car accident today, my wife thinks this is The Sims, and no matter how much we talk about it, this is The Sims, and there's everything in there's gone. Yeah,
I mean, we were asking for this when accounts were in the 5 million UPX range. Now there's some players in there upwards of 500 million. That's 500 grand.
Mm-hmm.
It's
What I've had to do is I actually did a test run a few months ago with my partner, and said, I explained to them my process for everything, and said, all right, I'm not here, I'm dead. How do you get my money?
Yep.
And it took a little bit to make sure that they got it, but I would love an easier way.
Yeah, I've done the exact same thing with my wife and my oldest son. I was like, what are the steps if this happens? And that goes for the crypto side of things too, what I've got involved with cryptos. Yeah. How about you, Cheese? What do you think about all that?
I gave Soli your name, Ben, because I don't think he was really listening when I explained it to him. So you'll have your work cut out for you if I decide to get hit by a bus.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's true, and I've done the exact same thing. If this happens, follow
I would
these
definitely
steps.
walk your wife through everything, and Definitely, yeah. Just don't get hit by a bus.
Yeah, I don't plan on it, but you never know.
Enough of death. Let's get to life. There's a life token coming, guys.
Oh,
Good
good segue. Good segue. Resource token for life, similar to Spark being staked for the construction, production of inanimate objects. Oh, yes, there has been talk about this recently. A new resource token will be introduced for the creation of living things. For example, plants, trees, animals.
Animals, we're getting pets.
Yes, I know you were all excited about the pets. Everybody wants to start a weed shop and they want Christmas trees and all sorts of things. Yeah, this sounds amazing.
Oh, Christmas tree.
Everyone wants to start a weed shop. I agree. Anyway, that's not going to be a thing in Upland for a very long time. Not officially.
I was in a discussion, general chat with some
Uh-oh.
prostitution house, he says.
Prostitution
It's more of a
house.
viewing gallery.
Oh my god.
What was that? I missed all that.
Something about a prostitution house.
Oh, you're talking about Hooker Alley?
Yeah, he wants to
Yeah.
take like porn NFTs essentially and put them in his houses.
Yeah, he has a bunch of houses on Hooker Alley. I talked to that guy too. I mean, find your game. That's his game.
That house is gonna smell
Well.
so bad. Moving on.
Oh man, it's gonna give a whole new definition to life token.
There you go. Well, there's another business idea: air freshener NFTs.
There you go. But no, this is going to be great. I love that they're thinking ahead to the point of not just putting everything in permanent. I mean, a housing structure, making that permanent's fine. Because by and large, houses are permanent. But I love that a tree is going to be planted. It's going to grow. It's going to die. A pet, it's sad, but it's in my opinion way better to have that mechanic in game of the you can get a puppy and then it grows up into your dog, and I don't know, maybe then you can breed animals. All kinds of fun stuff can happen from this.
You can fight animals.
Oh yeah, let's not get into dog fights and cockfights. I hope
Battle Royale. Battle Royale. There you go.
Oh no, not the Battle Royale.
So yeah, at least this is being discussed. I know this has been talked about, at several stages. So there's that. Then now the next one's kind of contentious as well. Mining and farming in Upland. In the future, instead of Spark being directly minted or bought, it will be deposited in wastelands around the world and left for Uplanders to discover and mine.
Well, isn't it very much like a Morecheeese is doing right now? Like, I'd love to see Upland doing that.
I thought it kind of got tossed aside in one of the more recent AMAs, or at least of like that's down the road.
Yeah.
I think they tossed it because people bought in. And this is another one of those things where people bought into it. Like, what was it? Bakersfield. Apparently, that has a large area that's.
Everyone thought Bakersfield was where we were going to be mining Spark. Everyone thought that.
And like going back to what you said previously, Skoobie, where don't overextend yourself. This is a point where a lot of people overextended themselves into speculation.
Yeah.
Don't
I do see something
speculate on
here.
what Upland's telling you.
Yeah, don't speculate what Upland tells you. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Now I get the whole wastelands, empty areas, mining or farming Spark, but that last sentence is similar to that. The resource token for life will be extractable through farming operations. So is that talking like what does that mean? Can you extract a life token and then make your animal live longer?
Well, it might be the farming side of things. So you have a crop, you harvest the crop, and you get some life profits or something from there. But it could be potentially puppy farm or something like that. Yeah.
I guess, or I guess you farm the food and feed the animal, and that would be a life. I don't know. This is getting kind of.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's a tricky one. I think. Go ahead, Chase.
Here's the thing: like, they're gonna need to have, like, all right. Let's say all the cities are out. Let's say Europe comes out a few years down the line. There's really everything is taken. What else can they do? I kind of feel like this is stuff that they're going to need to kind of keep people coming in for new stuff. Like, okay, the OGs came in, they have the housing, we're set. That's what I'm hoping for. We're putting in this time, money, and concentration in beta to kind of later on down the road have these perks. So they're gonna have these other stuff like the battle royale, the farming, the animals, the trees, all this other stuff and businesses for the new people coming in, where, you know, if we don't want to, we don't have to join in on that. We have our, you know, our properties, our rent, our this, our that. I kind of feel like they need to keep evolving it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Absolutely. Keep people engaged. I think part of the FOMO that kicked off with this whole mining situation was fueled by them releasing those digger block explorers, and they kept hinting that these may have in-game use. So they're selling mining tools. So you're thinking to yourself, okay, they must have the ball running with this, so I'm going to buy one of those block explorers. So that kind of fueled that Bakersfield speculation as well. I'm pretty sure the timing of that was pretty close together.
That was the terraformer one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was. Yeah, because I remember seeing that being like, all right, tie in an action, a function to a block explorer. That makes sense. Sure.
Yeah.
And then crickets.
Something for those people, because those were not cheap.
No, it was like $1,000.
Yep. Very good. So I think that's the end of the Agile roadmap, and here we get into the patting themselves on the back from 2020 roadmap.
Yeah.
So we can blitz through this quickly. They were congratulating themselves about the feed out system. Yep.
Right.
Set asking price for visits. Oh, that's right. That used to be standing. So you
Wow,
can
I
adjust
didn't even
your
realize that.
visit fees. Yep. Buy UpX with crypto, which was very helpful for me.
Me too.
New cities. Yes. Travel between cities. Collections. Reveal. Yep. Referral bonuses. Treasure hunts. Collecting sends. And on and on and on and on. So yeah, no, I thought personally, I thought the 2020 roadmap was pretty good. There was a lot of stuff that got done there. Like just looking at that now, there's a whole bunch of bullet points there. I don't think there'll be much. Well, there probably will be a lot of patting on the back for the 2021 roadmap, but
I think it'll be a little bit more reserved.
Yeah.
hopefully.
Hopefully.
I don't think we're going to see any verbiage that says, and neither should you see this.
That's going to be turned into an NFT by somebody.
We didn't do
Yeah,
half of the
should-
stuff in our 2021 roadmap, but neither should we have.
Neither should we have. Yeah.
If we had done it, you would. If we had done it, you wouldn't be able to tell anyway. So don't worry about
You
it.
don't worry about it. Just look at the flowers.
All right. So just what have we been going for nearly 2 hours? My Lord.
Oh, sorry about
that. Just in wrapping up, what are you guys like super interested for the rest of this year and looking into next year? What's your kind of what are you focused on?
I am gonna deal with these cities as they come the best I can and trying to pull up on some new properties, but I don't know. I don't really want to hear about any more features. I just want features to get done.
Yeah.
That's all I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
No new squirrels, please. Feed the ones you've got.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I want to see progress, whether that is in spurts or just slow and steady, consistent. I'm fine with either way. I just want to see steps forward. I don't want to see any new paths. Completely agree. Specifically the legits. I'm really bullish on the legit mechanic, not the NFL specifically, because I don't really give a shit about the NFL. But since they announced that, I immediately was like, all right, that can be applied to things like rock concerts. That can be applied to any live event. So that's what I'm real bullish on. I am very hopeful that the NFL legits thing works out well, so that I can be even more hopeful for when it branches out to other industries. Other than that, arcades. I want arcades. I want theaters. Those are the two things I want to hear about.
Me personally, I'm I'm bullish on Upland. I love Upland. I just want to see them more organized. I want, after this year is done and they kind of did everything that they were supposed to do, that they lost track of, all done and settled, like they're putting out all these cities. I feel like they have to, for some unwritten reason that we shouldn't know about. I want to see, for the new year, I want to see them more organized, more people on a team that can help out, and implement a lot of the stuff that was supposed to be there, like the business. You know, I want to see people putting their business out. I want to see Ben's business up and thriving. I just want more organization is all I want.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. Speaking to what Skoobie was saying as far as the NFLPA deal, that's how Cheese kind of talked me around. At first, I was like, "Oh, this is totally bogus. This is a load of horse shit." But she said, "Yeah, but understand that the mechanics is what's important." So that's what I'm kind of focused on. What I really want to see is, and this goes back to the UDU as well, less hype, more action. And that speaks directly to the NFLPA deal as well. I've been banging on this ever since it came out. They're putting out Brave browser ads advertising the NFLPA, the football metaverse, specifically referencing the Apple download and the Google Play download for the mobile app. This gets back to our TikTok Jimmy idea that I was going on about. Old mate TikTok Jimmy sees that ad, he downloads the game, fuck yeah, NFL in the metaverse. He gets the mobile app. There is not a single goddamn thing related to anything about the NFL in the app. And everybody keeps saying, "Oh yeah, but you have the NFLPA." And no, that's in the web version. That's not accessible from the mobile version. You can't specifically advertise for something, and there's nothing there. You're hyping up something before there's any substance to it.
Totally. And if he goes in the Discord and asks, what's this whole thing about? People are going to be like, well, in the future, you'll be able to show up to the stadium in game. And he's going to be like, oh, I can go there tomorrow. It's week 4. And we're going to be like, oh, no, not yet.
Yeah. So that's my biggest kind of drama. That's where I want to see. I want to see them having things in place before it's being promoted and, even leaked or discussed or hinted at.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Sorry, Cam, did you just want to wrap up on something there?
I really don't want to see them damage the community as a whole with people coming in on promises and then buying properties and then locking up those properties because those promises weren't fulfilled.
Yeah, sure. No, I'm super bullish on the whole overall thing. Otherwise, I wouldn't be in all these projects and spending so much of my free time devoted to it. So yeah, just throw us a bone once every now and then.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Alrighty, well, thank you guys. It's been very fun getting to know you a bit better and talking through all these things. Cheese, did you want to wrap us up? Anything you want to say?
I
just say thank you to the extra iCON people that jumped in as well and having their say. Thanks for that.
And thanks for letting us drop this link for live participation. I did have a couple people asking me because we always do our stuff live, and it didn't even occur to me like, oh yeah, they might not do that.
All good. We just make it up as we go along.
This is
Right
true. This is true.
We're show ever, so it's all good. We set the bar pretty low with our tagline, so.
We don't have anything to live up to. There's already the best show ever, so there has to be the worst show ever.
Right.
We're not winning any awards, but maybe the worst of awards. But thank you for coming on here with us. This was amazing. This is the first time it's ever been like a nice party chat, which I saw it as. I like that. It makes things a lot more easier, especially like when when there's more than 2 people, it just fills in a lot better with other people talking and whatnot. And I had a lot of fun. I mean, 2 freaking hours.
With Joe Rogan over here, what the hell?
Right on. No, yeah, thanks for having us, man. We were real happy to come on here and to do this with you. It's been great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Always excited to meet new people in the metaverse. This was awesome. Thank you guys.
Yeah. I love the driving. It's like just watching you drive and talk.
Right.
Like I can't even drive. I've never driven in my life.
I usually don't do this with the video, so like that's a bit easier. But yeah.
I like it though. It's kind of like that Seinfeld thing where like the driving and talking kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Driving in cars or
I have a
coughing
personal
cars.
driver too. I would never be driving, so I have a personal driver as well.
Yes.
One thing I like about these is you can actually put a face on the Block Explorer now. Like I can actually like look at your Block Explorers. I can know like I can how like you can kind of look at somebody and imagine somebody talking but they're really not talking. Well, now I can actually have that kind of fun now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
I don't know
can
about you
picture me
guys.
doing like the nerd push and my glasses.
Right on.
I need to make some more pixel versions of Ben and I, like nerdy versions, like be like that and do something for Ben. The beginning of the Whine and Cheese, I created all the art for that. Well, most of it.
Right on. Well done.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Thank you so much.
Alrighty, Cheese, you can stop recording. We're clear. Save me having to trim off too much.
All right. I always lose the stop record button.
Yeah,
I don't want
press
to end the call.
like I always do.
Go ahead, get your pinky up. Talk Whine and Cheese, motherfucker. Go ahead, get your pinky up. Go ahead, get your pinky up. Go ahead, get your pinky up. Talk Whine and Cheese, motherfucker. Go ahead, get your pinky up. Go ahead, get your pinky up.
You let fire samurai ride on the dingo, flying through the sky. Cheese in the house, get active right. Hit you with the hairbrush, hit you with the knife. You let fire samurai ride on the dingo, flying through the sky. Hit you with the knife, flying through the sky. You let fire samurai ride on the dingo, flying through the sky. Cheese in the house, get active right. Hit you with the hairbrush, hit you with the knife. You let fire samurai ride on the dingo, flying through the sky. Hit you with the knife, flying through the sky.
Time for Whine and Cheese. Whine and Cheese. 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 Time for Whine and Cheese.
Sickos, if you want some of that cheesy treasure, check the YouTube description.